to me about
I'm gonna let these two guys take over here since they're the only ones who really had to work today. So.
Good for them.
What time did you land?
We landed at 11. We had a delay for about an hour, a mechanical thing, but.
Do you tell your stars today don't come, or is it up to them?
You know, it's funny. When my first year, I would tell guys, no practice, but if you want to come in and work, that's up to you. And they would all kind of look at me, and for almost a whole year, I would have to tell them I'm not playing mind games, because they were wondering, am I supposed to come in? And so when I say optional practice, it does mean optional for Steph and Clay and KD. It's not optional for Jordan Bell. It's so it should be sort of understood. Like the guys who play big minutes on a day like today, they should sleep and get some treatment, get a massage, go play golf, do something different. And the young guys who don't play as much, they should come in and work.
It's nice to see McCaw over there smiling, and I don't know what he did today, but are you thrilled that he's back?
Well, yeah, he's continuing to improve and get shots up, and he looks good. So it's good to see.
Before you make a decision like changing up the starting lineup, starting the Hamptons five or whatever we want to call them, do you look at any analytics? Do you look at numbers, or is that just a feel thing?
I don't know, but Raymond told me last night that he's been here so long that he used to see some Warriors lineups that looked like the Hampton Inn five. So he said this newer version is a much better version. But we're not mentioning any names, right? Yeah.
What's the best starting lineup you've ever seen?
The one I would compare to ours was in Chicago. Michael, Scotty, Kukoc, Rodman, and Ron Harper. That's a lot of long, rangy guys who can all handle the ball and make a play. That was pretty impressive.
You guys started much, or was that more?
Not a whole lot, but Kukoc did become our starting center occasionally. The 96 team, Phil decided to start Ron Harper in the backcourt, and it was devastating defensively with Ron, Pip, MJ, Rodman. Those four guys started pretty much that whole 3-year run, but usually with a big center, because in those days you had to guard big centers. But sometimes we'd throw Kukoc out there with that group, and it was devastating. You couldn't do all the stuff you can do now with the switching. You could switch on the ball, but not off the ball. But that group in today's game would have been devastating.
Would that make you Quinn Cook in that?
Yeah, maybe. We'll go Quinn, Ian, LB, just backup guard and do your job. I'll take it.
Steve, you talked about such drastically different defensive styles, or what you need to do defensively from the first round to this round. How well has this group, handled both kinds of defensive responsibility?
I think this group is very smart and versatile, and the key is the effort that they bring. And I think inevitably, you see it in every series. If you handle your business early, there's going to be a natural letdown. When the letdown happens, how do you respond? That's what I always look for, and that was what was very satisfying with last night's game. Was we didn't bring the necessary force in Game 3. We were threatened on the road, and our guys brought it and set a tone early, and that's the mark of a great team.
Coach, with Draymond, I think over his last six or so closeout games, he's averaging more triple-double than 11 and 7. I know he always brings the intensity, but is there something unique about the intensity of closeout games?
It just reflects his competitiveness in general. The bigger the game, the better Draymond plays, the more intense he is, the more focus he has. He's going against Anthony Davis night after night and just doing an amazing job in concert with his teammates. But Draymond's a rare guy. I mean, he gets better. Every time the moment gets bigger, he gets better, and not everybody can sing that.
as much as you mentioned Anthony Davis, as good as Draymond is defensively, how difficult a cover is that?
Oh, man. I mean,
it seems like he's different than almost anybody else in the league.
He is, yeah. There's just nobody that size with that type of agility and ability to put the ball on the floor. I mean, there's a couple guys who come to mind, Embiid and Towns, but Davis right now is at a different level from those guys. Those guys may catch up, but Davis has, I think, emerged into his prime of his career, and so he's a guy who, like, we did a great job on him last night. That's about as good as we can do, and he had, I don't know, what did he have, 25 and 13 or something.
Right.
So you don't even harbor any illusions about stopping a guy like that. You just try to make it difficult, and he's still going to get his numbers.
Is he sort of the evolution when we talk about how the game's changed for that position to have a center?
I think so. And I think I talked about this last night pregame. Just the number of forces that have collided to change that position. It has to do with the rules, the rule changes in the early 2000s. AAU system, these guys are coming up, not exactly learning low post games because those games are up and down. And then what's more fun, to handle the ball on the perimeter and shoot threes, or to go down and bang with some big hairy guy from Europe?
See the fiasco that happened with Draymond.
I'm sorry?
The Twitter thing that with Draymond and the fan.
Oh, yeah.
And what do you have to say about that kind of close interaction?
It's disconcerting. I had a death threat one time when I was in Phoenix as a GM. I made a trade, and the next day got a call from the FBI. There was, I think it was a call that was made to the Suns offices, and then our office alerted the FBI. The FBI called me, but somebody basically called the office, said they were going to shoot me. And deep down, it's a hoax, but there's also part of you that's like, are you kidding me? Like, we're talking about a game here. And so it's very disconcerting. It's unfortunate. I guess it's inevitable in the age that we live in. A lot of people are able to now tell jokes that they would normally only think about in their head. We all think really stupid thoughts, but the way we live now, we immediately express those thoughts and put those thoughts out into the world for everybody to see, and it's created a very strange vibe in our world.
Is that weird for you? Because it's just a game. Theoretically, it's just a game.
Not in theory. It is just a game. Sorry,
yeah,
I got you.
Sorry. Just to have that for someone to have those thoughts about another person. Yeah.
But
just a game.
But that's my point. I'm sure when I was a young Dodger fan and Reggie Jackson stuck his hip out into the double play ball, sent it into right field in 1978.
So you don't hold a grudge at all.
I was so mad at Reggie Jackson, and I may have thought to myself, I hope Reggie dies. I might have thought that. I didn't tweet it.
You couldn't have tweeted.
Yeah, that's right. Twitter came along 27 years later. So
you could open the door.
You understand my point. Like, we're all emotional, and sports brings out so much passion and emotion in all of us. We all have our team. If you're really into sports, you have your team, and you get angry, and the same guy that you're screaming at, he's on your team next year, and then you love him, and it's this crazy roller coaster ride of emotion, and that's what makes it fun. But modern life has allowed for our thoughts to be exposed, and it's not a healthy dynamic.
Do you take any extra precautions to help a guy like Draymond who has just gotten a death threat on social media?
Oh yeah. Our security, yeah. Our security people will be on it, and I think we all know. The guy came out and said I was just kidding, and I apologize. So I don't think there's any threat, but our security people are all over everything that happens like this, and there's plenty of stuff that happens behind the scenes that nobody ever finds out about, but it is scary.
Did you do anything in Phoenix that time? Did you have to be more get security for 2 days?
I didn't know, no, but they investigated it, and I think even located the person.
Steve, when you have a game, you just alluded to how you guys responded yesterday from a tough game. Does that make what this group did last year even more remarkable?
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
I told our team, actually, after Game 3, the day we practiced, I said what we did last year was the first time and only time anybody has ever accomplished that in the playoffs, going 16-1. And I know the Lakers went 15-1. They had a similar kind of joyride where very little adversity. But that's the extreme exception. Year after year, the NBA champion has to go through so much to get there, and that's why you pour champagne on each other, because it's really hard, and it's supposed to be hard. And the fact that it is so difficult brings out the best in you, because you have to be on edge and on guard, and so that's why you saw a great performance from us last night. Our guys were threatened, and they've got to understand that the rest of this playoff run, no matter how long it goes, it's going to be difficult.
Did you say that on the
I said it at practice,
floor?
just
okay.
a practice.
Okay.
Like just remember, this isn't supposed to be easy type message.
Okay.
Just this season is the first in a while that this team had gone through some of the adversity that they went through in terms of like losses and some injuries and things like that. Is there ever a point where you wondered if it would come together at the right time the way it has?
I think the only time I was really worried, honestly, was the last week of the season. Our defense was so bad in Indiana and in Utah. There was absolutely a part of me that thought, I don't know if we can get our defense together. I know we'll get our offense together, but defense requires a mentality and a spirit and a unity, a sense of purpose from the five guys on the floor. And we were just a shell of ourselves that last week. I did understand the concept and the fact that we weren't playing for anything and that we had a lot of injuries, but I wasn't sure, and you're never sure in this business of anything. And so yeah, I had some concerns, but I think our guys did a great job right away in the Spurs series of reestablishing our defense and getting us back on track. And obviously now we have Steph back, and he's getting his feet wet, and so I feel like we're really rounding into form.
You made the comparison of Andre and Scottie Pippen yesterday. Andre actually grew up kind of idolizing Scottie Pippen in Springfield. Is that something you've talked to him about? And can you kind of tell just watching him that he grew up kind of patterning in his game?
Andre talks about the Bulls all the time, and obviously I was on those teams for many years, and so we talk a lot about MJ, Scottie, and the Bulls teams, and the NBA in general back then. He was a kid watching and absorbing everything, and so those teams made a big impact on him. And so yeah, we've had that discussion. I've told him many times that he reminds me of Scottie. Scottie was the smartest defensive player I ever played with, and most versatile. He would be so dominant in today's game if he were in his prime right now, because now he could guard 1 through 5. Back then he could guard 1 through 4. Now it would be 1 through 5 because there's no aircraft carriers anymore in the league. But we've talked about it.
You peered across the conference and just seeing what Houston did, and just how impressive was it that they just went into Salt Lake and kind of dominated with a really good Jazz team?
It's impressive what they've done, what Boston has done, what Cleveland has done. It seems to be that way. As you go through the playoffs, the best teams emerge for a reason. The stakes get higher, people lock in, people get competitive and motivated, and you see their best, and that's what you're seeing around the league right now.
Steve, can I ask you a little more about Draymond? I know you're proud of these guys, whether you're on the floor, but the way he commented in his post-game press conference, which these guys have daily now, do you have a sense of pride in the way he handled himself?
What did he comment on?
Just the way he answered, saying, I hope this guy gets some help, and he could have gone down one path instead.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I just think Draymond is he's always been emotional and passionate and competitive and a great player, and but now he's experienced. He's got more life experience. He's got more NBA experience, and I think you're seeing the best version of him right now. He's he's matured and he's understood his importance to our team, and he knows that we need his edge, we need his fire, and we even need an occasional technical foul from him, but we need him to draw the line, and that's what you're seeing right now. So I'm really proud of Draymond and how far he's come and what he's doing, and he's been fantastic. Not one word about Kevin Durant after a 38-point dominant night.
We wrote about it.
All right, fine.
Do you want to talk more? No.
We're good. We're good.
I think he scored 38.
That's right. You need to.
Just shot around.
Oh, okay.
Just shot around. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You good today?